Hi everyone, welcome to the gameplay video for Embark. I intend this to be a longer video to show off more of the gameplay. This is the starting menu for Embark. To begin, you simply just click anywhere on this globe and you can see a preview of the area, the starting area. For now we'll just start somewhere near the coast, somewhere flat, so that it's a little bit easier to start. And here you'll see the characters and things you'll start with. So you can see their attributes and you can pick another one if you're not satisfied with it. You can also choose what things you start with. By default you just start with a few things. So first thing you want to do is look around. I think our starting area isn't so good. There's not enough trees. First thing you want to do is to open this citizens tab. So this lets you quickly move between your various workers. Since there are no trees here, we probably want to move everyone over to somewhere else. Maybe here. This looks like a decent starting location. So we'll make some stockpiles to put everything we got from the start. So our rations and seeds and our tools. So they should immediately start picking up things and moving them over to the stockpile. And effectively we can start making our base here. We can start asking them to chop down these trees for wood. And we also want to make sure there's a stockpile for all the wood. Further away. And we also want to make sure that there are people set to chop down the trees, so we can check our jobs tab and assign them jobs. Oh, we have no miners, so I guess he can be one. Maybe more than one. So we can speed the game up a bit. And they should be doing their thing. Oh, it's a bit loud. So you can see she's started to harvest trees. Next thing we want to do is to supply a source of food. We start with some rations, but we'll need to make more shortly. So we can start by harvesting these mushrooms. In the top left here you see we can set the priority of the job. So we can make them, we can't control them directly, but we can make them more likely to do things first. Again, we want to set a stockpile for the mushrooms over here. Why are the trees flickering? Huh? That's weird. Okay, anyway. We want to put down some workshops. A wood shop to process the trees we'll cut down. Here, and a kitchen to cook up these mushrooms. We can rotate with the Q and E key. So that should be a good start. Oh, another thing we can do is to start farming. So we can place the farms down maybe here. And flatten out the top of this hill. So for digging, we can set the depth you want to dig. By default it's depth 2, but with 1 you get a bit more control. So we can start flattening out the land a little bit so that we have a place to build. And also we can start building some shelter for them. Underground maybe. You can choose whether you want to build the rooms above ground or underground. It's a little bit harder to build it above ground, but I guess it looks nicer above ground, but for now we'll just stick some underground rooms. So to do that you need to dig out a staircase, and it's a bit finicky digging out the staircase like right now. You pretty much just have to guess where the top layer is and kind of eyeball it. We'll probably improve that soon, but for now you can kind of just eyeball it. So that should make a nice staircase, and we can start making our rooms here. We want them to be depth 2 so that they walk around properly. That should do for now. Maybe dig a bigger one. And our miner should start work on those. Fast forward a little bit. So you can see starting to plant mushrooms in the farm. They will automatically harvest them when they have grown. And you can see the mushrooms we harvested here as well. And they seem to have finished building the kitchen. So to get them to start making some meals, we have to go to the make item menu. And here you can see your various workshops. And each workshop has its own research tree. So you can look at all the research from this button. And they are currently separate for each workshop, so you need to gain research points for each workshop individually. You get that by simply making items or having people work at the workshops. And you order new items from here as well. So let's make some meals. We choose the ingredients, the priority and the quantity, and we can just order them to make some. Same thing with planks. So you can see it's been ordered to make 20 planks. And make sure that someone is set to be a carpenter. Probably not all of them. Oh, they're all sleeping now. can fast forward again. Let's see him digging, I guess. So you can see they've started making planks and also started getting experience at the wood shop. So with this farm and our small amount of mushrooms, we should have enough food to last us for some time. For water, they will automatically go to the nearest water source to drink. In this case, I think it's just here, which is quite close. Later on, you can build stills and get them to make some drinks. But for now, they can just go nearby to drink, and they won't be that happy, but they won't die. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention is you can use the Z and X keys to go up and down levels. So you can look underground or above ground, and you can press C to zoom to a level. So that snaps it straight away. And of course you can click on your citizens here to look around, to zoom to them. So the reason we're making these planks is to make some furniture for them. So you can start by making some beds, so they don't have to sleep on the grass. Maybe a double bed. And some doors. And fast forward a bit. So you can see that she's using the pick which we got at the start of the game today. They automatically will look for tools to equip themselves with, so you don't really have to micro it, but you can take a look at the stats for the item. It's quite a complicated system, but basically each item is made out of multiple parts, and the attributes of the item depend on the raw materials you use to make the item. So you want to make them out of good raw materials, and also you want skilled workers making them. So they finally made a bit, and it's not assigned to anyone, so anyone can just claim it. And here we have a double bed, so we need that basically to grow the population. So if we assign it to a couple, they can start hopefully making babies. And actually, I think I'll just combine this too. Another thing we haven't seen is building walls. So walls basically replace the terrain with dugout. You can choose what materials you want to use, and we'll just fill that back in. You can also use it to build above ground. We should also have unlocked more things we can make by now, so we can start making tools soon. I'm still not very sure with the research system, but it's mostly now just to help guide you along, so that you're not too overwhelmed by all the things in the game. But I'm still not 100% sure about how it'll be. So please leave feedback on what you think about the research system. Not much going on now. Another thing we can look at is we can look at their mood and what their current thoughts are. And their relationships with other people. Right now everyone is pretty happy, I guess. Another thing we can do is put some torches down here so it's not so dark. And oh, we forgot to make the next workshop. So this is the crafting workshop which they use to assemble tools and some basic weapons. And we probably need to cut down more trees. That should do. And we also can now make the still. So with the still, it needs to be close to a supply of water. So you see it kind of draws water from a nearby source. And we can also dig to move the water nearer to us. So that's kind of a small source. Yeah, we can just start digging here. Maybe something like that. The water is kind of working now, but at the same time there are many edge cases. So just don't do anything too weird with the water, I guess. Let's increase the priority for this. Hope he comes over soon. So you can see the water. So that should let us build our still a bit nearer. Somewhere here maybe? Another thing is the material type of the ground actually affects their walking speed. So this clay actually makes them walk really slowly. So having this here is not really ideal, I guess, but for now it should do. Oh, they finished the torch. Another thing we probably want is a dining area. Maybe we can just put it somewhere here. And that's rather sad looking, I guess. I probably need to make my farm a bit bigger too. You see there's like a really tiny apple tree here. So, oh wait, the bigger ones here. So how they work is you can ask them to harvest the apple trees, and they should collect the apples without killing the tree, and it's a renewable supply of food. So one thing you can see is that they're all pretty unhappy with the hunger and thirst. Under the jobs tab you can set how much food or water they should eat and drink. So right now it's set to low so that our food lasts for longer. You can also set it higher so that they won't be so unhappy. Because happiness affects how well they do things, and the quality of the items they make. They also start doing bad things if they get too unhappy. You can see she got pregnant already, so that's good. We should have a child on the way soon, eventually. Which is one of the ways to increase the number of workers. It takes quite a long time though, as you would expect, I guess. And the other way we can get more workers is to find camps on the map and clearing them. Right now it's not very fleshed out, but if you see here, we can see some buildings and people guarding them, or the wolves guarding them. We probably need more equipment before we can do that though. The workshop. So we can make a few clubs maybe. So for items which are not raw materials, you have to choose exactly what to put into it. So here we have a few sticks we made before, and you basically just choose the material and ask them to use it. And of course the attributes are dependent on what you use. And we can also make some dirt walls. So that we can start making something above ground, I guess. You don't necessarily need to make dirt walls from the workshop. You can just use the stone or dirt which they dig up normally, but it's a lot more efficient because you get more pieces by processing it using the workshop. So like one piece of dirt I think becomes like 4 pieces of dirt wall, so it's a lot faster to build using that. we should make sure that all of them have at least one bed each. And you can see the quality of the room through this overlay. So rooms are basically any area which is completely walled off and enclosed by a door. So it can be above ground as well. You can make your rooms above ground, and you can see the stats for the room, and it affects how happy they are with their bedroom. Here you can see one of the events which can happen. I just implemented this, so it's still very much in testing, but the idea is you should be able to control who likes who and who doesn't like who, I guess, and I mean to have some control in their relationships rather than them just doing their own thing. So not sure how that's going to play out still, but yeah, the idea is to give you some control in relationships, because right now they basically talk to each other and either start arguing or start to make friends with each other, and it's pretty random depending on their traits and what they're talking about, and just some random chance. So you can see that she doesn't like this other person, so he's starting to make some of these, and we can maybe build and close our dining room so they don't have to eat in the rain. What's he doing? Okay, never mind. You can see she's also starting to make some drinks, and it will start using the water from this source. Eventually it will run out, and we'll need to draw water from somewhere further away. But we don't have to worry about that for now. You can see they made 2 clubs, so we can... Maybe I'll try and show you a bit of the combat. Here we have the military panel, so we can start a new squad and put people into them. And there are 2 ways to equip people. We either click on them directly and ask them to go pick up a club, and the pick as well, why not? And the other way is to go through the military panel and the equipment panel, and you can mass assign equipment here, but the interface here isn't best yet, so I'm still improving this part. So now that they have all their stuff, we can set the squad to alert and get them to go somewhere. And maybe get them to kill something. I thought I saw some bunny here. Ah yeah, here. So can get them to kill the poor bunny. Oh wait, no, there's something closer. Wait. Oh, stop running. That's annoying. Okay, finally. Oh wow, it died pretty fast. So you can see the combat log here. And we can get them to go back to work. And maybe carry the corpse back. And we can get the can eventually butcher the corpse and get some bunny meat, but apparently I don't have the research now. Wait, why does it take so much? Never mind. Oh, what the hell is that? Oh, it's the bunny. Okay, that's a bit buggy. Okay, don't look at that. One more thing I want to show you is the prospecting system. So as we kind of unlock more research, we kind of need a source of metal, and like with Dwarf Fortress, one way is to just dig into the unknown and just dig until you hit something. A system we have is the prospecting system. So each time someone digs up a block, they have a chance of finding traces of a metal source or a coal seam. And you can see here under the prospecting tab all the things we've hit. So far we've only had one trace of coal, and it should tell you where it's found and how near it is. So there should be a source of coal somewhere nearby. We'll still have to find it manually by digging, but at least we know it's somewhere nearby. Yeah, that should be a pretty self-sufficient colony, and eventually you'll get attacked by waves of enemies, and you have to build defenses around the colony, but that is for a future video, I guess. Thank you everyone, and hope you had a good New Year's Day.